Joshua's Place is a community outreach organization that exists to help families and individuals overcome the barriers in their lives that cause instability. We believe those instabilities are expressed in both material and relational terms, so we seek to engage at a personal level while also meeting practical needs. We began Joshua's Place in the spring of 2008 in the basement of a small house in South Lebanon, serving 10 families with just 15 volunteers. Today, our work benefits hundreds of people each month with an army of more than 250 volunteers that do their work in a former elementary school that we've repurposed into a community center. We started that first spring with a simple food pantry and a powerful idea. We knew that families in our community could use more groceries, but we also know that we all need connected relationships. What we didn't know was the simple idea, the idea of being in relationship with those you serve, would be the catalyst for shaping a vision for what Joshua's Place is today. We are who we are today because we listened to those we served. For the first 2 years of our work, we met with folks in the rooms of that small house and really got to know them. We got to know them as individuals, and we began to see what the struggles we heard had themes and commonalities. Twice a month we would meet and connect with families, celebrating life's joys and grieving together life's disappointments. We would give food for that week, but we were developing friendships that were eternal. It's hard to overestimate the importance of those first 2 years of listening. It has shaped who we've become and ensured that our work is focused on the root problems families face and not just the presenting issues and crises. You see, in the world of helping people, it's easy to focus your time and energy on the headline issues. It's tempting to provide services that match today's crisis, but may also be establishing patterns of entitlement and dependency. We were committed to not doing help that hurts, so we continued to listen. While we listened to those we served, we also observed the best practices of organizations that serve similar needs. We had no desire to recreate the wheel if it was avoidable, but have been willing to innovate when necessary. This approach allowed us to learn from those that were having generational impacts while forming partnerships that allowed us to leverage our small resources to impact big problems. It's also given us the freedom to explore new methods that meet today's needs and, more importantly, develop new possibilities for future generations. Our focus on generational change requires us to stay committed to relationships. This commitment has developed programs and methods that appear innovative to some because they're unique in today's world of poverty alleviation. We don't see them as innovative, we simply see them as an outcome of listening. When people ask me about Joshua's Place, they usually want to know about the programs we offer. This gives me a chance to tell them about the 240 kids that are served each weekend by our Power Pack program and the 75 kids we tutor each week through our Whiz Kids program. I tell them about our summer camp and our summer lunch programs and about our partnership with Safe Families of Cincinnati. If we're at the community center, I show them Sammy's Place, our Learning and Technology Center, and describe the adult development courses that are taught there. When describing our financial literacy, parenting, and personal development classes, I also talk about Celebrate Recovery, our addiction recovery ministry, and Celebration Place, our children's curriculum for those whose parents attend Celebrate Recovery. I always describe our food co-op and how member families give $4 to receive $50 in groceries and how we value dignity and participation. However, when I'm describing Joshua's Place, I'm careful to not just talk about what we do, our programs, or how we do them through involved relationships, but I make certain whenever possible that people understand the why. The why is because there are people hurting in our community and many of them are children. The why is because poverty in America has become cyclical and a child born in poverty is likely to stay that way. The why is because there are single moms in vulnerable positions that lack the voice or skills to negotiate what has become a very complex world. But the most important why is because we offer something most organizations cannot. As a Christian organization focused on the eternal, we are not satisfied with short-term solutions. We've seen the impacts of those fixes that require the receiver to set aside their dignity in exchange for an entitlement. You see, while we listen, we hear a common thread of need expressed that reminds us of why we exist. We see the physical needs, we see the impact of broken relationships, we see the patterns that will likely repeat themselves. But when we listen, when we really listen, we hear hopelessness that isn't satisfied by material solutions. It is for this hope that we exist. Hope is the unique promise that we deliver. It is a hope not rooted in opportunity or education, those things are important, but a hope rooted in knowing that we are deeply loved by a God and that He offers us purpose, peace, and joy. A purpose rooted in our unique desire, a peace that allows us a contentment regardless of our circumstances, and a joy that makes us fearless in the face of harsh realities. This is the promise given to us by Jesus when he said, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, because I've overcome the world." It's in this truth that we place our hope, and hope is why we exist.